Good evening, everyone. My name is Jen, and I am the founder of Always Furever. And I thought I would jump on tonight because instead of just slapping up a fundraiser and spilling out my heart through a bunch of words, I wanted to share the why behind it. And I know we put out a lot of fundraisers, and I know there are a ton of asks, but every single ask comes with a purpose, with a reason, and I think it's important to share the thought process behind that. And tonight I put up a very special fundraiser for a water treadmill. Now, not everybody will think that this is appropriate for a rescue to have or to even ask, but I think that's what makes Always and Forever so special, is that we are willing to jump on alive, to put a fundraiser up, to take an incredible leap of faith and say, let's do things differently. Let's look at shelters from the perspective of maybe it's not just supposed to be temporary housing. Maybe it's supposed to be a shelter where animals come and they are rehabilitated mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of the above. And maybe it's taking a different approach to every single aspect about how shelters are run. And that goes to waking up in the morning, to greeting them every day with joy and with light. And that's why you see me bright and early every single morning. I'm alive, even when it's muddy, raining, snowing, chaotic, where they're all screaming at me waiting for breakfast. And then you see all the beautiful photos and videos of our staff that truly do love these animals throughout the day. The play groups, the doggy dates that our amazing volunteer take them on, the cats at PetSmart, all of our amazing fosters who open their hearts and their homes up to these animals and truly deeply love them like their own. And to anyone that has been a foster with us, and to all the fosters, whether you're with us fostering or with another rescue fostering, guys, you are amazing, because I personally have known the incredible heartache, and it truly is heartache, it's a grief of letting a foster go, and letting a foster go to a loving adopter, like the most perfect home in the world. You still feel the pain and the ache of a goodbye, but it's such a different, it's a different ache, because this is what you pray for. This is what you're constantly, putting out in the universe and hoping for. And that's what I just recently experienced with my Maddox, who it's weird. It's still weird with him not here, because he was a special needs guy. He didn't like new people. He was protective of his home. He was extremely kennel reactive. And I said it over and over and over. It's not about, he's not perfect for everyone, but there's someone perfect out there for him. And his soul was meant to show others that it's okay to be imperfect, that it's okay to have quirks, that it's okay to have triggers. As long as we share them and disclose them, someone out there is going to love them. And I know it. I know it because I couldn't help but fall madly in love with him. And so I know I always get off track because I start talking about one thing and then it goes to another. And that's the beautiful thing about Always and Forever, is that I could talk and talk and talk about it, because there's so many miracles every single day. Every single day there is a miracle within us, outside of us, conspiring around us, and it's all because of everyone coming together and being united by this amazing, beautiful mission of saying, we may not have any rescue, we may not have any background in rescue, we may not know what we're doing, but we can find a way to make life better today. Just a little bit better today than it was yesterday, to build a better tomorrow, and to keep compounding on that and compounding on that. And then what you see is that 7 years ago, when we were first opening our doors and had literally no idea what we were doing, here we are, 6,000 lives saved later. and still going and still figuring it out along the way. And so it's amazing what can happen when you simply have the courage to try. And that's what it is. And it's okay to fail. Guys, we have failed in so many things. I think our biggest public failure was our conditional use permit, where our neighbors fought us. It was ugly. It was horrible, the things they said about us. But it led to us finding Kansas City, Missouri, and our homestead east. Now, we're not giving up on our property here, and it will happen, but it will happen in God's time. And we only truly fail when we stop trying, when we stop sharing our experiences, when we stop learning from them, when we stop being willing to grow and become better from them. I know personally I wouldn't be who I am today without having made every single mistake that I have made along the way. I think Sarah shared it in a post the other day with Memphis accidentally meeting hula. And I said, accidental intros are my jam, because I can't even tell you how many times I've opened the wrong kennels and been like, whoops, here you go, make friends. And sometimes, it's the trial and error. It's the courage to do play groups, to do dog intros, to say, hey, let's do a big pack versus isolated kennels. Because guys, isolated kennels, there are no fights. There are no issues. Then every dog is perfect and you can just have them go into a home and say, oh, we've never had a dog fight. No, we've had dog fights. We've had tragedies. We've had horrific experiences, and we've shared them. We've shared them publicly, and people have used those against us, and we still share them, because it's about hoping that someone may learn from our mistakes and not make them. And that's what life is. It's a journey. We're not here to be perfect. We are so incredibly far from perfect. But we're here to learn, and we're here to grow. And I know I say this all the time, but I truly do believe we overcomplicate the heck out of life. It truly is just about love. In whatever form, whatever passion that your heart calls you to love, that's what we're here for. And I think anyone that's drawn to Always and Forever is drawn and united not only for the love of the animals, but for the love of each other, and treating each other with kindness, with dignity, with respect, and just embodying that all around and making that the true definition of a shelter. And when I say that I see miracles every single day, I truly do. I see it in our staff. I see it in our volunteers. I see it in all the beautiful Facebook comments that you guys make, where I recognize the names, where I see you all, and sometimes I have time to go through the comments, and I feel like I know you. And I know that we're just on social media together, but there is an amazing connection and love for the joy that these animals bring us, for the celebrations of the Esperanzas who go to a foster, or the Elises who beat Parvo, or all those beautiful puppies who got out of a horrific situation. And while there are many, many things in this world that can drag us down every night, when we put our head on our pillow at night, we know that we've made a difference, even if it's just in the smallest way, for one single soul. And that's why we keep doing what we do. And some nights are very, very hard. I'm not gonna lie. We've had, there's so many nights when you just don't know if you've done enough, where the heaviness comes on you, where it's outside of your control. And no matter what you do, no matter what you feel, no matter what you pray and hope, you can't change things. But we truly know the only things we can ever change and control are ourselves. And that's why when I wake up every morning, and I might have had a horrid day the day before, I go in there, I jump on Alive, and there's Butch kissing me on the couch, and there's Yellow screaming at me to play, and there's Casper who wants breakfast, and there's Rosie who's running around the barn, looking for somebody else's leftovers, and you can't help but smile, because they don't know that someone else didn't want them. They don't know that someone else threw them away. They don't know that someone else had them scheduled to die. And they wake up with joy, because it doesn't matter to them, because they live in this moment. And that's why their love and their presence and their awareness of right now is so dang contagious. And I gotta share that because if something makes me smile, I want somebody else to smile, because selfishly, they give me so much love, and I hope in the mornings that you guys can feel that incredible love that they give out too. So I got totally sidetracked on that. I want to get back to the purpose of why I jumped on this live tonight. And I started to write something about my girl. And I know if you guys have followed us over the past year or two, I shared my Josie. And if you were involved in our Operation Be Brave campaign and our movement towards purchasing Kansas City, Missouri, our homestead east out there, my Josie was an integral part of that. She was just, oh, she makes me smile. And she breaks my heart when I smile at the same time. And that's the impact that a soul can have on you. But that's not what this is about. Josie was my angel because I had just lost, I don't talk about her that as often. I had just lost my Libby, who, oh my goodness. Libby, 14 years I had her in my life. She was like my first adult dog. So if you think about your transition, and I say adult, I had been adult, I had gone to law school, but I didn't have a dog then. I didn't even know what fostering was in law school. I would have totally fostered if somebody had said, Jen, you can foster a dog because we pay the expenses. I was so broke. In college, my sister and I lived off of Taco Bell bean burritos every single day and the McDonald's dollar menu. I remember my mom would send us gift cards to McDonald's, and we would pick out like 2 or 3 things, and that would be our dinner for the night. And all we did was work in college. But that would have been amazing to know I could have fostered a dog, and a rescue could have sponsored expenses. So if you're in college and you love animals, we help you. And it's such a beautiful thing. But I just didn't know about it then. But going back, when I first became an adult, I do remember getting, adopting. It was Muggsy and Libby. It was a mom and a daughter. And they came into my world just really out of law school, just becoming an adult. And I remember, the first thing I remember is my mom saying, don't get a pit bull. They're mean. And I was like, what? Like, these are wonderful dogs. But that was the stereotype. We didn't know. I grew up with boxers, and I got a pit bull. And it was a pit bull boxer mix. And she was my angel. She was my angel in so many ways. Now, Muggsy has an incredible place in my heart too, but when I lost Muggsy, it was Libby who carried me through. Losing Muggsy, losing Bandicat, losing Charlotte. And the very special part about Libby was that at 6 years old, she was diagnosed with bone cancer. We just walked into a vet. It was a totally normal vet trip. I think we were going for vaccinations or something, which is shocking because I'm like the worst with vaccinating my dogs because I never keep track of that, and I was always moving. So I never quite followed the path. So I don't know how this adoption team adopted to me because my vet checks probably weren't good. But at 6 years old, we walked into the vet, and the vet was my very good friend at the time. And as we were walking out, she said, hey, wait, turn around. I think I noticed something on Libby's shoulder. And we walked back, and she did an x-ray, and the x-ray showed literally that, I mean, I can see it in my head. That's the impact that an x-ray has. And I have zero medical background, but you could see that the bone where the shoulder was supposed to be, there was literally like a black hole, and the bone had disappeared and disintegrated. So the cancer had eaten away and taken her shoulder. And the first instinct was osteosarcoma. And everyone, if you know anything about that, you know it's terminal, and there's no cure. And it truly is take the limb or your dog or cat will die. And so at 6 years old, she had been totally healthy, running around, no limp, no nothing. And it was I think I went to 3 different vets and they said put her to sleep, that it was cruel to consider to take a front leg, because if you don't know, dogs carry 60% of their weight in the front of their body, and she was very chesty. So if anybody knew Libby, she had like this huge broad chest there, and so she wasn't built to be a tripod. And it's so strange when someone tells you to give up. It's strange to me when someone tells you to give up on someone, and I'm going to say someone because to me dogs are family, to just give up because the chances are low, to save them. And so the vets that said put her to sleep, I was like, that just doesn't make sense to me. So went to, I think it was our 3rd vet, and it was in Barrington, and it was, gosh, this was 2014 at the time, and it was $6,000 back then, and I didn't really have that kind of money. I still don't. That's still a huge chunk of money to amputate a leg and take the shoulder. They said that's the only way, because you just scoop all the cancer out. And then it was that or do a biopsy and confirm that it's osteosarcoma. And I said, well, why would we do a biopsy if, actually, no, I think I ended up doing a biopsy. We did the biopsy. And it turned out it was chondrosarcoma, which is a slower form, the less horrific form of osteosarcoma, still bone cancer. And I took the leg, I took the shoulder, and that was like the first kind of life and death decision I've ever made in my life for someone I love so deeply. And she lived 8 more years after that, and I lost her in 2022. And on top of that, I think it was in 2017 when I first moved here and bought the farm, the cancer came back. And the cancer came back in her front leg and one of her toes. I think there's 4 toes on the dog. How many toes do you have? Let's see. Z, can I look at your toes? 1, 2, 3, there's 4 toes. So she had to lose one of her toes. And it just seemed insane. How could you take away one of 4 toes on the front leg that was holding her up? And it was that or lose her life. And they didn't know if she could handle it, and I didn't know either. And I made the decision. It was the very last decision with her where I said, we cannot take any more of your body parts. And we took the toe, and it was actually Spring Hill Vet that did that for her, and she lived 5 more years after that. Now this was a time, 2014 through 2022, I didn't know about prosthetics. I had no idea. I mean, it got to the point where I knew about it, but it was too late in her life for it to help her, because she had adjusted her leg over. If you've ever seen a tripod walk around, they shift their body weight around, so her whole anatomy kind of shifted. She had 2 knee surgeries as well. She had hip dysplasia. She had floating patellas. I mean, you want to talk about pain. My knee aches when it rains, which is ridiculous. And this girl was so loving all the time and never complained, and literally met every single soul she ever met with love. Every single animal. She was gentle. She was loving. And if you've ever had a tripod, I'm just going to share my greatest fear in the entire world was her breaking her front leg. Because what do you do with a tripod that you have no front legs kind of thing? So anytime it was icy or snowy or rainy, it was always like dreaded fear inside of me. I have a point hanging with me on this. She stuck around. She held on to every single day and gave me every single ounce of love she ever had without a single complaint. And I wish with all my heart that I would have given her some type of healing and peace. I didn't know about acupuncture. I didn't know about laser therapy. I didn't know about these magnetic beds. We had tried chiropractic, blah, it's late, I'm tired. We had tried that, but it didn't really seem to have an effect on her. But the one thing with all my heart I wish I would have done from the very beginning was water therapy. And in so many ways, there are so many animals that suffer from arthritis, from recovering from knee surgeries, from being paralyzed with IBDD. For those that remember Scribbles, oh my God, every single day. I mean, Scribbles is a warrior. And he is in the most amazing family right now. But it would be doggy dates for Scribbles to go to Grandview. So what we have right now, and I know we've got insane medical expenses right now. I think we spent $85,000 on emergency vets just this first quarter. What is it, April alone? That's not with like the ordinary stuff of our 300 animals in our care. That's the Maggies, that's the Esperanza, that's the Flowers, the cat that had the C-section, that's the kittens that are in the ICU. That is the ones that we go, that's Spicy Pete, who's at the emergency vet still from being hit by a car. That is taking the ones that no one else is willing to take, on top of everything that's going on. So 300 animals in our care, it doesn't matter. That is saying, yes, we've got crazy expenses. Yes, we've got full-time staff. Yes, we have 3 different locations. Yes, we see a vision where we are across the country, where shelters can be run differently, but we're still going to go all in on saving the ones nobody else is willing to take. And why? Because Esperanza was $15,000 just because someone neglected her. Someone left her bleeding. Someone left her to die. And we stepped in. When by we, I mean me, I mean you, I mean all of us. This doesn't happen without all of us. And so while we may have many initiatives all over, that doesn't mean that one is more important than the other. It just means that someone's heart may be called in the direction of a water treadmill, like my Libby. Because why shouldn't a rescue have the same benefits and care and love as any other dog that has a home? And why can't it be? Why can't we live in a world where shelter animals are treated better than the ones with a home? Why not? Because if you think about it, if everybody donated to shelter animals, the care should be better. Because collectively, all of us can do so much more together than one individual. I could never do what I wanted to do with Libby by myself, ever. And I didn't get the chance to give her that. But right now we have the chance to give that to the green beans out there. So if anybody follows Green Bean, I don't know if he has IBDD. There's some posts that say he does, there's some posts that say he doesn't. The dude is short, he's stout, he's got back issues and leg problems, and water treadmill therapy would be phenomenal for him. Scribbles, Glinda, there's so many dogs. And maybe it's dogs that are in our community too that can't afford to do that. And maybe that's the calling of this too, because our St. Francis Hospital is not just going to be about Always and Forever. It's going to be about all God's animals and each other. And so we have to take that crazy leap of faith to start one single donation at a time. And that's what we do. So I wanted to jump on here and just explain my why. And I'll drop some pictures in the fundraiser about my Libby, but I would love to hear and know about your Libby, your soul that truly loved you and changed you in a way no other soul can. And for some people, that's TK. TK is a very, very special soul who, he's not meant to be in a home, but he's meant to be in our home. And that was the beauty of building a tiny home for a dog that others looked past and saw no value. And we saw and felt love. And that boy is adorable. He's feisty. He's stubborn. He is amazing. And he has shown the world that reactive dogs are not bad dogs. They're just scared. And they need consistency. And they need a world that's structured. And they need peace. And they deserve that too. And every single soul deserves to know love. And it's not just about the medical, it's the emotional. And the medical is not just about a vaccine, a pill, a spay, a neuter. It's about the rehab. It's about the quality of life and the care that we give them. And why can't we be the shelter that comes together and says, these guys deserve more? And let's start with water therapy. Let's start with laser therapy. Let's start with acupuncture. Let's do chiropractic. I can't even say the word, whatever that is. Let's do the things that others don't even talk about, because they might not have the crazy faith that we can pull this off. It's $47,000, you guys. It's crazy, right? I think it's like 39 and then installation kind of thing, but it's top of the line and it's worth it. And they're worth it. And if you think about the trips that we did just for scribbles, you know, $300 to $500 each time, each way, doing that, you know, every other week for 6 months to a year, we are investing not only in ourselves, but we're investing in our animals. We are investing in a future where they don't feel as much pain. And what a beautiful thing. I don't know if you've personally experienced chronic pain or any type of pain, but when I'm in pain, it's almost like the world is just screaming out at you. And this probably sounds weird, physical pain doesn't bother me. I play tackle football, I play hockey, you know, I grew up figure skating. It was like you fall down, you get up, you break something, it heals, kind of thing. Nothing has ever crippled me more in my life than emotional pain. From grief, from loss. I never truly knew what suffering was until I lived through that. And then I think about physical pain and how chronic pain can be similar to grief in that sense. And while I might not have known that, if there is one ounce of relief that we can give to these animals that suffer silently, either emotionally or physically, guys, that's worth like $40 million. There's literally no price that you can put on to easing a soul's suffering. Physical, emotional, spiritual, doesn't matter. And it all starts with love. And I know some people come on and they say, well, you ask for too much money, you spend too much money, you get too much money. Money changes things, you guys. And that's what it is. It's not a bad thing. It just depends on what you use it for. And when we come together and say, hey, we can make this world a better place by saying, not individually, but collectively. Individually, collectively, all together. It starts with us. It starts with me. And it starts with you. And I do it for my Libby. Because, she's been gone 3 years and I miss her every day. Every day she used to sit literally right here in this couch and on 3 legs. When she didn't want to get up, she would literally flip over and turn into an 800-pound elephant. I couldn't pick her up when she didn't want to get up. But she made me smile, and she still makes me smile. And she speaks into me and through me to want to help the tripods out there, to help the elderly, to help the arthritic, to help the animals that suffer, that have no voice, that didn't get the chance to touch someone's heart the way that she touched mine, because no one adopted them, because no one fostered them, because they were in a shelter that they walked in and they never walked out. And so, in our small way, I know every single one who follows Always and Forever and who gives their heart, their prayers, their time, their love, their money, in whatever capacity you share this mission and this dream, I know we are changing the world for the better. So that is why I jumped on this, just to explain the why and to explain the fundraiser, and I'm going to share some photos. But if there is someone, some animal, some person, whatever, that touches your soul the way that Libby touched mine, and you would like to donate towards a water treadmill, then we would appreciate you. Or share it, or in whatever capacity you want. I do like to jump on and to share the why. Everything is about why. Why do we wake up every day? Why do we do what we do? Why do we consistently beg people to care? It's because we know someone out there does. And when you find that right person and that person shares and finds another person, that is how we change the world. It starts with us, one soul at a time. So I don't know what night this is. I don't know what day this is. It's Thursday. Holy cow, it's late. I'm signing off. Gotta get up early. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining. Thanks for loving all of these animals as crazy as I do and as crazy as everybody else does along here with us. So have a wonderful night, guys.